I'll never forget that morning. The sunlight poured through my office window, and my coffee tasted like victory. After 6 months of late nights, sleepless weekends, and countless rejections, I'd finally done it. I closed a $4 million deal, the biggest in the company's history. I could almost hear champagne corks popping in my mind. Everyone in the sales department was buzzing, slapping my back, congratulating me like I'd just won a championship. I felt invincible. My boss, Richard Simmons, called me into his office. He was smiling, or pretending to. "Clara, that was phenomenal work," he said. "You've outdone yourself." For a brief second, I saw something flicker behind his eyes. Jealousy? No. Maybe disbelief. I brushed it off. I thanked him and sat down, expecting the praise to continue, maybe even a promotion. But instead, his smile faded. "You know, Clara," he said slowly, "sometimes when people achieve something big, they start thinking they're bigger than the company." I blinked. "What do you mean?" He leaned back. "You've done great, but we're going in a new direction. Effective immediately, your position is terminated." I thought I misheard him. Terminated? After closing the biggest deal the company ever had? "Richard, you can't be serious." He sighed, sliding a letter across the desk. "It's already processed. HR will finalize the paperwork. You've been an asset, but your services are no longer needed." I sat there frozen, the walls closing in. The deal I brought in would make the company millions, and I wouldn't see a single cent. As I left the building with my box of belongings, the only thing running through my mind was, why me? But that night, I received an email from someone inside the company, with the subject line, "You were never supposed to know the truth." I stared at the subject line for a full minute before opening the email. It was short. Just one sentence. "Richard took credit for your deal. He's been planning this for weeks." My stomach dropped. Beneath it was an attachment, a scanned copy of an internal memo marked confidential. It clearly stated that the $4 million contract was being reported as Richard's personal acquisition. My name wasn't mentioned anywhere. I couldn't breathe. After all the work, all the hours, he'd not only fired me but stolen my achievement. I replied instantly, asking who sent it. No answer. Just silence. For the next few days, I barely slept. The anger inside me simmered until it became something else, focus. I wasn't going to cry anymore. I was going to rebuild. But before I could move on, I needed proof, undeniable, public proof. The next morning, a message popped up on my phone from an unknown number. "Meet me at the old coffee shop at noon. I can help you bring him down." The coffee shop smelled of roasted beans and old regrets. I arrived early, scanning every face. Then I saw him, mid-30s, clean-cut, sharp eyes. He waved me over. "Clara Bennett?" "Yes." "Who are you?" "Leo Carter. Former financial analyst. I used to work for Richard too." He slid a manila folder across the table. Inside were spreadsheets, internal messages, and payment logs. Richard's name appeared next to off-book accounts and questionable transactions. "What is this?" I whispered. "Proof," Leo said. "He's been manipulating numbers and taking kickbacks. You weren't fired for incompetence, you were fired because you got too close to exposing him." I stared at the pages. My firing wasn't personal, it was strategic. Leo leaned forward. "You and I could expose him, but it won't be easy." "You in?" I didn't hesitate. "I'm in." As I left the cafe, I noticed a black car idling across the street, the driver watching me through tinted windows. For days, I felt it, that creeping sense of being followed. The same car showed up near my apartment, at the grocery store, even outside my gym. Richard knew I was digging. I called Leo. "We have to be careful," I whispered. "He's watching." Leo didn't sound surprised. "Of course he is." That's what cowards do when they're scared. We started meeting secretly at night in public places, avoiding patterns. Leo was smart, too smart, maybe. He had a plan to collect evidence without tipping anyone off. But paranoia became my new shadow. Every ring of my phone, every knock on my door made my heart jump. One night, I came home to find my apartment door slightly open, and my laptop gone. I froze. The apartment was dark, but I could feel it. Someone had been inside. My laptop, my external drive, even my old business cards, gone. On the table was a note, "Stop digging, Clara. Some things are better left buried." My hands shook. I called the police, but there were no signs of forced entry, no fingerprints. "Could be a friend or neighbor," the officer said. I wanted to scream. I called Leo. "They took everything." He sighed. "Then they're nervous. That means we're close. I'll get you another computer. Back up everything in the cloud from now on." He was right. If they wanted me scared, I'd give them the opposite. I started writing everything down, names, dates, connections. 2 nights later, I received another email, this one with a video attachment labeled Richard's Confession. I clicked play. Richard's voice filled the room. He was talking to someone, I couldn't see who, bragging. "She's gone now," he said. "I made sure she wouldn't be a problem. The board thinks I closed that deal. I'm untouchable." My heart raced. It was exactly what I needed, proof of his deception. But the file was cut off halfway through. Leo examined it. "It's been tampered with. Someone wanted you to see this, but not the whole thing." "Why?" I asked. "Because there's more, and whoever recorded it might still be alive." That night, I received a new email, "If you want the full video, meet me tomorrow. Don't tell Leo." I didn't know whether to trust it. Leo had been my only ally, but what if he wasn't telling me everything? At 2 a.m., I lay awake replaying every word he'd said. Could he be working for Richard too? By morning, I'd made my choice. I went to the meeting alone. The address led me to an abandoned parking lot. A woman stood there in a trench coat, hood up. She handed me a flash drive and whispered, "You didn't hear this from me." "Who are you?" I asked. "Someone who used to believe in Richard." She turned and disappeared before I could ask more. I plugged the flash drive into my laptop, and saw something that made my stomach drop. It wasn't a video. It was my termination letter, signed 3 weeks before I closed the deal. That letter changed everything. Richard hadn't fired me on impulse, he'd planned it. Weeks before the deal even closed, he decided to cut me out. Leo read the file over my shoulder. "He used you, Clara. You did the work, he waited for you to succeed, then took the credit." Rage coursed through me. I wasn't just a casualty. I was a pawn. Leo looked at me carefully. "So, what's your move?" I smiled bitterly. "I'm going to do what he fears most, build something bigger than him." That night, I bought the domain name phoenixconsultinggroup.com. Phoenix Consulting started in my living room with 1 laptop and too much caffeine. I was terrified, but I had one thing Richard didn't, integrity. Leo joined me full-time. We pitched to small businesses, offering honest marketing help. At first, no one took us seriously. But word spread, fast. 3 months later, we landed our first big client. It wasn't $4 million, but it was ours. Pure, clean victory. For the first time since I was fired, I felt alive again. Then one morning, Leo stormed in with a newspaper in his hand. "Clara," he said, "you need to see this." The headline read, "Simmons Group accused of fraud, internal whistleblower leaks evidence." I almost dropped my coffee. Richard was under investigation. I read every word. Anonymous tips, falsified records, investor complaints, everything Leo had predicted. I smiled. Karma, it seemed, had finally shown up. But as I scrolled through the article, one detail froze my blood. Authorities suspect a former employee may be assisting in the leak. That meant me. That night, a knock echoed on my door, 3 slow, deliberate knocks. My breath caught in my throat. 3 knocks. Not the impatient kind, slow, deliberate, like the person on the other side knew I was scared. I crept toward the door, my heart hammering. Who's there? Silence. Then a voice, it's Leo. I opened the door, relief flooding through me, until I saw his face. Pale, sweating. What's wrong? They know, he said. Richard's people. They traced the whistleblower files back to us. My stomach dropped. What do you mean, us? I used one of my old company logins to access their server, he confessed. They'll assume you helped. Panic set in. We weren't ready. If they came for us, everything, Phoenix Consulting, the clients, my new life, would burn. A car screeched outside. Headlights flooded the windows. Leo whispered, it's them. We bolted out the back door, cutting through alleys. The night air bit into my skin as adrenaline fueled every step. Where are we going? I panted. Safe house, Leo said. Friend of mine owes me a favor. We reached an old storage building on the edge of town. Inside, he locked the door and turned off the lights. I could still hear engines outside, they were looking for us. Leo opened a duffel bag. Inside were hard drives, cash, and fake IDs. We might need to disappear for a while, he said. I shook my head. No. I'm not running. I've been running since the day he fired me. It's time to fight back. I turned on the light, and froze. There was a hidden camera blinking red in the corner. Get down. Leo hissed, yanking me behind a shelf. He grabbed a metal rod and smashed the camera. Sparks flew. We've been compromised, he said. By who? Richard? Leo frowned. Or someone closer. We relocated again, a motel 2 towns away. While Leo slept, I went through the hard drives he brought. Hidden among invoices and corporate documents was a single folder labeled Simmons_private. Inside, hundreds of recorded calls, Richard's voice, smug and arrogant, discussing offshore accounts, investor bribes, even names of politicians. I stared at the screen, trembling. This was bigger than either of us imagined. Then I saw another familiar voice in one of the calls, Tanya Jacobs, my old coworker, and best friend. Tanya's voice was unmistakable. She doesn't suspect a thing, she told Richard. Once you fire her, we'll shift the client directly to your account. My stomach twisted. Tanya. The same woman who used to bring me coffee, who cried with me when my husband died. Leo woke to find me staring at the laptop. What is it? Tanya, I whispered. She helped him fire me. He swore under his breath. She's still at the company. She's feeding him info. I clenched my fists. Then she'll be our entry point. Sent Tanya a message, it's been a while. Can we talk? And her reply came almost instantly, sure. Lunch tomorrow? I arrived early, pretending everything was normal. Tanya hugged me like nothing had happened. You look great, Clara. I've missed you. I smiled tightly. Same here. We made small talk. She mentioned her promotion, the one she probably got after helping Richard steal my deal. Finally, I leaned in. Funny thing. I came across some old files. Internal recordings. Yours was in one of them. Her face drained of color. What are you talking about? You and Richard. Talking about my termination. She stammered. Clara, that's not what it sounds like. I think it sounds exactly right, I said. Unless you'd like to explain it to the press. She stood abruptly, eyes cold. You have no idea who you're dealing with. After that meeting, everything felt heavier. Tanya's words haunted me. Leo tried to reassure me. She's bluffing. You've got the leverage. But 2 nights later, my car alarm went off at 3 a.m. I looked outside, all 4 tires slashed. Then came the phone calls, heavy breathing, then silence. Every night at 2 a.m. Finally, one message played a distorted voice. Stop digging, or you'll lose more than your job. Leo urged me to leave town for a few days. I packed quickly, but before leaving, I checked my email. One new message: if you want to end this, meet me alone. Midnight. Same cafe. It was signed, Tanya. The cafe was empty, lights dimmed. I waited, nerves fraying. Then Tanya walked in, dressed in black, eyes darting. Why am I here? I asked. You don't understand, she said. Richard isn't working alone. He's backed by people who'll destroy anyone in their way. Then why are you helping him? I demanded. Tanya's eyes glistened. Because I don't have a choice. She handed me a USB stick. Take this. You'll see what I mean. Before I could ask more, she slipped out into the night. I plugged in the USB drive, and the first file was labeled Operation Phoenix. The irony nearly made me laugh. Phoenix, my company's name, was apparently part of Richard's plan long before I even started it. The documents detailed a fake subsidiary scheme under the same name, designed to launder funds from corporate deals. My company's sudden success must have triggered his fear of exposure. I looked at Leo. He's using my name to cover his crimes. Then we hit him where it hurts, he said. Expose him before he can destroy you. We spent the next week tracing digital trails, piecing together the network. And just when I thought we had everything ready, Richard himself called me. Clara, he said smoothly, we need to talk. Hearing his voice again made my skin crawl. What do you want, Richard? He chuckled. Oh, Clara. Still dramatic, I see. I just wanted to congratulate you on your little company. Phoenix, is it? Cute name. Why are you really calling? To warn you. Walk away now, and I'll forget everything. Stay, and you'll lose everything. I smiled bitterly. You already took everything, Richard. I have nothing left to lose. He paused. Then you're dumber than I thought. The next morning, my company website was hacked, replaced with one line, you should have listened. The hack spread fast. Clients called non-stop, terrified their data was compromised. My stomach twisted as I realized how far Richard was willing to go. Leo and I worked around the clock restoring files. We can fix the site, he said, but we need to counterattack. Publicly. How? I asked. By releasing what we've got. The recordings. The evidence. Everything. He was right, but timing was everything. If we moved too soon, Richard could spin it. We decided to set the trap, schedule a leak during his upcoming investor summit. The night before the event, Tanya called again, her voice trembling. Clara, they found out what I did. You need to run. Tanya's voice was shaking. They're coming for me, Clara. They know I gave you the files. Where are you? Nowhere safe. The line went dead. Leo and I stared at each other. I wanted to rush out, to find her, but logic kicked in. If they'd found Tanya, they were close to finding me. Then an email popped up. Anonymous sender. Subject, next time, we won't miss. Attached was a photo, me, leaving my office just hours earlier. The walls were closing in. A loud crash echoed from the back of my office. Someone had broken in. I grabbed the nearest thing, a metal ruler, and edged toward the noise. The storeroom door was open. Inside, papers were scattered everywhere. Who's there? I called. No answer. Then, from the shadows, a figure stepped out. Tanya. She looked terrified, bruised, and shaking. They followed me, she gasped. I didn't know where else to go. I pulled her inside, locked the door, and grabbed her a blanket. Richard's men, she whispered. They want that USB drive. You can't let them have it. Then she fainted, and from her coat pocket, a second USB fell to the floor, labeled Phase 2. Leo plugged in the second USB. What we found chilled me: plans for a data wipe, a full erasure of all evidence linking Richard's company to the offshore accounts. The wipe was scheduled for midnight, just 3 hours away. We have to stop it, I said. Leo nodded. Then we're going in. Tanya stirred weakly. There's an access point at headquarters. Basement level. You'll need my keycard. We drove through the night, headlights off, hearts pounding. As we approached the building, Richard's car was already parked out front. We snuck in through the side door. Security cameras tracked every corner, but Leo jammed them with his portable blocker. The basement was colder than I remembered. Rows of humming servers filled the space. This is it, he whispered. Plug in the override. I slid Tanya's card and inserted our USB. Progress bar, 48%. 62%. 80%. Then, footsteps. Step away from the console, Richard's voice thundered behind me. I turned to face him, and saw a gun in his hand. Clara, Richard said smoothly, you've made this much harder than it needed to be. I stood my ground. You destroyed everything I built. You stole my work. My future. He smirked. You were never built for the top. You just got lucky. Leo moved to distract him, but Richard fired, missing by inches. The sound echoed through the room. Next one won't miss, he snarled. Then I noticed the progress bar behind him, 99% complete. I whispered, you're too late. The system beeped. Transfer complete. Richard spun around just in time to see the screen flash. Data sent to media outlets. His face twisted. What have you done? I've given the truth to the world, I said. He lunged toward me, but Leo tackled him. The gun skidded across the floor. Sirens wailed outside. Red and blue lights flashed through the basement windows. The police burst in, Richard screamed, she set me up. It all happened fast. Officers cuffed Richard as he shouted threats, spit flying. You think this is over? He roared. You'll regret this. But I just stood there, silent. Years of fear, doubt, and humiliation, all collapsing into relief. One officer turned to me. Ma'am, your statement will be critical in the investigation. I nodded. Gladly. As they dragged Richard away, he locked eyes with me and sneered. You'll be nothing without me, Clara. I looked him dead in the eye and said, we'll see about that. The news exploded. CEO arrested in $4 million fraud scandal. My inbox flooded with messages from reporters, investors, even old coworkers who'd once ignored me. Phoenix Consulting's reputation skyrocketed overnight. Clients who once doubted me now begged to work with us. But not everything was perfect. Tanya was still in hiding, traumatized by what she'd seen. I made sure she had protection. She deserved a second chance too. Then, 6 months later, my assistant walked in looking stunned. Clara, there's a man waiting in the lobby. Says his name is Richard Simmons. I laughed out loud at first. You're kidding. She shook her head. No. He says he's here for an interview. Curiosity got the better of me. I walked to the lobby, and there he was. Thinner, older, dressed in a cheap suit. Clara, he said quietly, I didn't realize this was your company. Oh, I'm sure you didn't, I said. Phoenix, remember the name? He lowered his head. I need a second chance. I stared at him, thinking of the years I'd lost, the humiliation I'd endured. I smiled faintly. Sure, Richard. Let's have that interview. We sat across from each other, the roles reversed. I asked the same questions he'd once asked me, savoring every second. What's your greatest weakness? I asked. He hesitated. Pride. I nodded. Fair answer. He looked broken, desperate. I've lost everything, Clara. I leaned back. Maybe now you understand what you took from me. He didn't reply. As he left, I whispered, you were right about one thing, I wasn't built for the top. I built the top. And that's how I closed the chapter on the man who once thought he could erase me.